Less than a month to go.
It's Christmas!
Time to panic.
It happens, I think, at the final firework on fireworks night, when you have the finale, and the smoke clears and you see all the women going, Christmas. Got to start getting ready for Christmas now. Christmas is coming. Don't talk to me. I'm thinking, I'm planning. There's so much to do, darling.
I'm Alexia Russell, and I don't know about you, but lately I've been a bit stuck on listicle articles packed full of good advice. How to make your home cosy and warm for Christmas guests, the best night markets, the right fireplace mantle displays, what to do if you're snowed in. Oh, hang on. Wrong hemisphere.
I will never trade in the bright sunny days, the laughter, the smell in the air, the birds, the tuis singing, and the yummy food.
I've had one Northern Hemisphere Christmas and it actually snowed on Christmas Day, and that was nice, but it did feel weird all sitting inside.
I'm looking for help on how to host a pre-Christmas Kiwi gathering with the least amount of stress and expense. I need good advice, like this.
Champagne is one of those drinks that you can sort of drink all throughout the day, particularly on Christmas Day.
So on The Detail today, I'm speaking to one of the country's top hosts and foodies, Trudy Nelson, and New Zealand's premier professional guest, Colin Mathura-Jeffrey.
I love hosting, but it is a very stressful and expensive time of year, but it is totally about chilling out and just, wrapping yourself in it. I reckon New Zealanders every Christmas are getting a little bit more festive, I reckon. We've now got Christmas pop-up shops and all that sort of stuff. So it's actually quite nice, quite refreshing.
Except we're never going to go with all the lights, are we? Because by the time we turn our lights on, it's time to go home.
Well, I think it's a different culture, isn't it? So being winter and a winter wonderland in the Northern Hemisphere, we actually apply ourselves entirely different. I'm from the 70s, so I remember how all the shops had fake snow all on the windows and, snowflakes and everything. And now we lean into the summer vibe and the luncheon and all that kind of pavlova and the fresh fruits. And
absolutely, Colin. We get into the Pahudakawa flowers, and I was the same as you, Colin. I felt sorry for Santa in that big red velvet suit.
The 26-year-old in my home wants to host a Christmas party this year. I'm going to step back, and he needs a few clues.
From my perspective, I grew up with a family that really did host a lot, especially around summer, and it was a lot of barbecues. In fact, I just went to one 2 days ago, a barbecue, and I was on the barbecue cooking all the meat and lamb chops and all the delicious food. And I think the trick is be prepared. So he should know unashamedly what he will provide, and then also throw it out to what should be brought in regards to the guests coming in, because it's a privilege to be a guest and you should never be entitled. And I've never been entitled. I get invited to a lot of things, but I'm not entitled. I go in there. I go in often with a bottle of some kind of wine or a spirit for the guest, as well as one to put away. Right. So that they can just, it's not...
Yeah, like a hosting gift.
Take this away and that's for you in your own time and enjoy that.
So do you get asked when you're invited to these things and they're sort of got a BYO vibe, do you get asked specifically to bring something, or do you just bring...
I just bring it. I think it's the height of rudeness to be a guest and not provide a gift in some capacity, and no matter who they are. And I've found in my experience that, and knowing every corner of community, that very affluent people are often not as generous as the lesser financially.
There's 2 slices of ham for each guest.
Yeah, that
carefully
kind of
measured.
Yeah. And yet you can go to another kind of party and it's wonderfully generous, and people will come in without a thought. Just to provide things. But what you don't want, what your son doesn't want, is he doesn't want 11 potato salads.
No.
You have to designate. If you do know who your key supporters are, like I'm often can be seen as a key supporter. I'll come in if they need 12 bottles of champagne or Methode Traditionale. I'll come in with it. and cocktails, etc.
So, Trudy, what's your advice, and how does he stop it from becoming super expensive?
Yeah, cool. Firstly, I'm with Colin on his first step which I think he said was make a plan and decide what you're actually making ahead of time. And as Colin said, reach out to those guests that you can really count on. And this can include family and just say, hey, what's your signature dish? And they might say, a potato salad, and you say cool, and you can tick that one off, and yours, like for example mine is pavlova, so that the sweets are sorted. But yeah, just go to 3 or 4 key people in your family or your group that you're inviting and just saying, hey, can't wait to see you, but would you possibly be able to bring a plate? And I'm a big believer in that, and I'm also, to save money rather than going off to said Christmas pop-up shop, is going into your local op shop and just buying everything in their 50-cent $1 thing area, everything that's red and green and crystal like, and they don't have to match, and just have a bit of fun with it, and even give those away at the end, because you obviously don't want all that stuff and you've given your bit to the local charity buying it from the op shop. Just say, hey guys, as they're leaving, like they might have arrived with something, but say, please pick something from the table that you'd like to take with you, and they can say, oh, I really did love those napkin rings, or I love that candlestick, or whatever, and they take it with you, and that will remind them of you and your party for the next few Christmases.
How does that gel with kind of the anti-consumerism thing of not going out and buying more plastic and tap that you're only going to use once a year?
Yeah, that was that for a thrifty vibe I was mentioning. Just definitely op shops. I would go to op shops and just buy all the mismatched plates that everyone have slightly, floral with red or green, and there's lots, 50 cents, $1, even say Merry Christmas. There's a whole, that op shops actually have a really good time this time of year and make almost a Christmas area, and just go and buy it all secondhand, and then keep the stuff you want, but at the end do gift them on and say, hey guys, take this home, and I like that as a bit of a keepsake to take something. And in regard to food, like making that plan and getting it all, like online shopping is a blessing this time of year. Everyone's a bit manic, and just do it online, get it delivered to your door, and like I say, reach out for help from family or friends or guests, and just say, hey, make something amazing. I can't wait to see what you're going to rustle.
That's wonderfully generous. And one thing that I now live by is I grew up with a mother and father that had a lot of beautiful, beautiful dinner sets and etc. and they wouldn't be used. And now I just pull them all out and I just use it, eat off it, enjoy it. We don't really know what's coming tomorrow, and that's not a negative. It's just enjoy life in the moment. And when it comes to your son and shopping around for food, there are so many fabulous specials everywhere, and certain shops that cater to specials and big packages of barbecue meat, and I'm not talking cheap. I'm talking quality, but they do know it's good to turn it around and create something that is targeted to the type of guests your son would have. Who are what kind of guests? Describe them for us.
They would be mostly tradies and neighbours who are also tradies. So yeah, we're looking at some salt of the earth guests here.
One thing one could do is pre-buy, so go in or order online, things like those Christmas mince tarts, which most people love. They are quite polarising, but just a pack of those is $3 or $4 for it's either 6 or 10, and you just put those out on a platter, and there's one of your sweet treats done.
So we've talked about food first, and is that because food is the key to a successful do?
When you love someone, you feed them. You nourish their life, and that's what I noticed. Having been a former host of a TV cooking show, I realised, the sort of the way people are. When you do care for someone, the first thing you do is you feed them. So this is all about being generous and sustaining their life. So it's a beautiful thing. And then the other thing I just want to mention, which I've seen, and I love this podcast conversation because it's so positive, but I've noticed creeping through my social situations are people that will arrive and almost sabotage the food story by saying something like, well, I can't eat these kind of foods, and can we recater, or can we? I don't like the smell of that, and it's just attention based. And
most people, when they're that, they will probably bring their own. I think you'll find like GF people or vegan people will probably bring their own pack of beetroot sausages or their
which is
own.
Great. Which is great.
Yeah, but then they don't want them cooked on the same barbie as the meat.
No, that's the thing. I've seen certain situations sort of play out, and it becomes a a bit of a big sort of hijacking conversation. And
So don't do that.
no, don't do that. And don't just harmonise with the party and don't be a standout. Just really feed the energy of a collective. And that's what's really important for Christmas.
So is it incumbent, though, on the host to make sure there are some gluten-free treats or some, I don't
I
know.
personally would make sure that there's something, and that's as easy as going and getting some cherry tomatoes, which are like little red baubles, and putting them on a big bed of, and shape it into a tree if you want, of green leafy cos or some nice fancy lettuces, and just plonking the red baubles on the top, and a bit of feta, which is the red, white, and green. That, I mean, there's a GF dish right in one. It's quite easy, and it's quite festive because you can make it.
It's
and shape
fresh. It's fresh and delicious.
Greens. Colin was talking about harmony, and I think that's a huge, huge word for Christmas. It is, as I say, a completely stressful time of year. And we're having a giggle, Alexia, as we were coming on air about, family Christmases, and families like meat go off after 3 days. So if you're having people, over, you really stick to that 2-3 days. And I know people do come for a week, but go and climb a mountain or do something in your downtime. But you've just got to smile, smile, and smile some more. So get dressed in that red or green outfit, put on that festive hat, look at yourself in the mirror before everyone arrives, and just smile and say, you got this, peace, harmony, and walk into those festivities like your son, just with a smile. And it's amazing how far that will actually go. A great attitude, it actually works wonders. So you might not have thought of every dish, you might not have the fancy napkins, but if you smile and just welcome people, especially when they're arriving with champagne like Colin, just smiles in your attitude is absolutely key.
Okay, so what are the things around the edges that maybe take a little time and you're thinking, do I really need to do that, or will it add to the party? I'm talking things like decor, curated music, those sort of other things that add to an
That are
event.
absolutely correct. Decor. It is good to have a bit of decor and a bit of the understanding of the theme. Because people want to walk into a wonderland, and it can just be, something quite petite and small, or it can be magnificent, or one whole Kardashian type of mad room. But people love that, even if it's just themed on shirts or something.
Right.
It's just Hawaiian shirts, something like
Or
that.
get your
But-
tree up.
Yeah, the tree up.
Now, there's a life hack for this one. So put your tree up. So if there's time, like what are we now from your son's party? Only, a very short time. So
couple
put
of
the
weeks.
tree up, but don't decorate it. So put all you know how we all store our decorations in the box and the little baskets and hide them away every year? Lay them out and get people when they arrive just to pick their decoration and say, the party's this way, but please pick a decoration that are all laid out and put it on the tree. So what you're actually doing is getting all their energy and goodness, and your tree to look at for the few weeks that it's up has actually all been placed there by someone that's chosen that Santa beer bucket or the Christmas car, and they've put it on the tree in that spot. And it's actually quite a nice way to break the ice. And some people will sneak 2 or 3 decorations, and some people will be like, oh gosh, and hang up one and move on quite quickly. But so have the tree up, but get everybody at the party to decorate it.
That's a really cool idea. I like that
Yeah,
idea.
it's sweet.
Good vibe.
What about the room? Like, do you have to deck it with wreaths and bows and tinsel and bells
Well, I think
Definitely on the front door, I reckon.
on the front door?
Yeah, I like the front door, and I like the odds. I've got a beautiful vintage Santa, but also I'm conscious now of waste and rubbish waste and things like that. So if it can be something that's recyclable, then that would be brilliant. But aside from that, yeah, definitely some pohutakawa and things like that. Yeah, beautiful colours.
Go wandering, go foraging, and find, for vases, you can just find a tree in your garden that, even our beautiful silver fern or the punga palms growing in the garden, just stuffing those into a red vase, or you don't have to go out and buy all those things. And usually, like most of us, we do have those Christmas boxes that we've been, everything's stacked in it, over so many Christmases. So just reuse, absolutely. And again, I can't stress it enough. Op Shop is really fun, and you're also supporting a charity, and you can just have some fun and buy it and then gift it, or reuse it for the next year. But I wouldn't go to, if it's time and I don't want to be too sexist, but male versus female. If your son only just wants to do the tree and hang up a bit of tinsel around the curtain rail, then sweet as, like, just do what he wants, and you pitch in, obviously being mum, and make it a bit of a thing. Turn that music up, and you talked about
Trudy
music.
will provide you a list. You'll tick them off. Tick, tick, tick.
But okay, what about music though? Because I personally find by the time we get to like mid-December, I've had it up to the neck with tinkery Christmas songs.
Yeah.
Not carols, love carols, but not everybody's into carols. But, you know, I don't want to hear another round of Mariah Carey. You know, by then. So what do you just put party music on, or do you have to sort of make some nod towards the Christmas season?
I think
What do
you
do?
start off with that nod to Christmas. I
Right.
think that's a really great way to start off, and then everyone is relaxed, and then it can just edge off into something else, or you know,
Segue into the Killers.
yeah, exactly, into the Cure, and Susie and the Banshees.
It'll come later, yeah, after a couple of said champagnes. But I mean, we're so lucky these days. You can just say to, hey, Alexa, play old school Christmas music, and she'll just literally rock out Bing Crosby and White Christmas and Snoopy's Christmas. So I reckon full noise Christmas, but I'd go more old school, not the Mariah Carey
Older.
stuff, but that traditional stuff. Yeah.
Santa Baby and all that kind of.
Yeah, that's nice.
I love Christmas. I just love the vibe. I unashamedly, you know how you'll hear the odd prickly person would go, oh, I'm not really into, you know, this season, but I always had this habit of adopting strays and bringing them
Animals or people?
people, and I would bring them home, and there would always be presents under the tree that are particularly open, you know, for anyone that is a guest, and I would quickly, you know, sign their name into it and say, oh, look under the tree when the gifts are being opened. And
Oh, funny. But in New Zealand, okay, we've been talking about northern versus southern, and in the Northern Hemisphere, they're sort of barraged by photos of cosy couches and mantelpieces being decorated. Here, we're more likely to throw open the French doors and, you know, tumble outside. How do you do that indoor-outdoor thing and still keep the vibe, the Christmas vibe? Like
champagne.
decorate outside or...
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can throw some tinsel around, you know, on the outside and things like that. But when it comes down to it, it's the feeling of the guest and whatever energy they're having internally inside the house, they're going to have outside the house. So just have that wonderful flow. And you know what I love is those lunches where, you know, it starts a bit early, everyone's prepping, the doors are open, and just the flow is back and forward. There's top-ups. It's just wonderful.
Is Christmas one of your favourite times of the year, Trudy?
Yeah, it is. I really love it, and I'm embraced it. I've already got the Christmas tree up, and it's been up since probably about mid-November. That's more for my vibe. So
Not sure if I'm happy about that.
I've gone a bit early. There is a reason for that. So I unfortunately am an orphan this Christmas. So yeah, I'm on my own. So I'm hoping that there's going to be people that just open their doors to me. I've got family here at home for a couple of days, but leading up to and literally straight after, I'm on my own. So I thought, right, I'm going to put my Christmas tree up and actually soak it up. And as I put it up and decorated it myself, I put the Christmas music on, and I gotta understand this time of year isn't for everyone. So that they are alone, or they don't. They might be in a bit of a tiff with the family and they're ostracised. So I believe that if you can open up your door to extras at this time of year, then far out, do it. And Boxing Day, I don't know if you know, but the theme of Boxing Day was boxing up everything for the less fortunate that you haven't eaten or that were unwanted, and definitely get into that, like living is giving. So I love this time of year. I've got a beautiful family, but at the same time I'm also on my own. So I'm hoping to come across, well, Colin's champagne Christmas.
It's so important to just be kind, but also I think people need to look at people around them, and you can just sort of tell if someone's alone or lonely, you know, and it's such a wonderful opportunity to just bring someone in with a bit of food, a bit of love.
Can all this get a bit expensive and lead to a situation where those who haven't got a lot shrink down at Christmas, don't hold the parties? You know, how do you get around that situation where you want to have the joy and the people and the feasting, but your budget doesn't match it?
I'd revert back to that, asking people to bring like a potluck style, asking them to bring food, and also, a Christmas ham, you don't have to go and buy the big giant one that's $90. You can just go and buy the really cute little one that's sort of 10, 15 centimeters long and just have that. And veggies, like back to that salad thing, making a huge, big red and green and white salad with a bit of cheeses and stuff is not going to break the bank, but I would ask for help. And that's another thing, a really nice thing to think about is everyone's willing to help, so just ask.
Do Kiwis dress up these days for Christmas dues? I know that my son will be wearing no shoes, a raggy old pair of shorts and a T-shirt, whatever T-shirt came out of the cupboard that day, and a Santa hat.
Well, at least there's a Santa hat.
It's definitely got to be a tip of the cap to Christmas somewhere. So whether that's like a $2 Santa hat or a red dress that you've had in your wardrobe, I do believe that we get into it. You can now go to all these places and get those Hawaiian shirts and even get your face on it if you want. But if you don't have the money to do it, and again, it's going back to the thrift option, going to your local, I've got one just around the corner, and like $2 dresses. You just go and buy something red or green or even white. And Christmas
lovely and white.
Put your tinsel earrings on.
Yeah, got to have the earrings.
Now, I was talking to a person who works at this institution just before you came in. I won't name him, but he's the afternoon host here. And he reckons that people don't have residential Christmas parties at all the dues he's been to. They're at places. But that doesn't seem to be your experience. It's not mine.
I go to maybe he's just not being.
Maybe he hasn't got any friends.
Invited, yeah.
Oh, that's sad, isn't it?
Well, no, he's obviously going to all the fancy ones, and I get that, like that in media, I guess, and being who he is, he will be invited to those really nice places. But
what's more fun, the neighbourhood one, your next door neighbour's Christmas party, or the one that's on the top floor of an Auckland hotel?
For me,
yeah.
Who goes and
everywhere.
wines and dines everywhere with royalty and everything.
That's right.
I will drop everything for... I live in Mount Albert. Mount Albert has a little street Christmas do. I will be there in a second because it's about my community, my residential family, my neighbours who I love to bits, and also my family. So, you grow up and you mature and you learn... What's important, how does my soul smile and why, as opposed to going to an event where, it looks pretty and plastic and it's like being in a snow globe that's shaken up.
Right, that's all. I have to go and get decorating. The Detail is a newsroom production supported by RNZ and New Zealand On Air. This episode was engineered by Jeremy Ansell and produced by Gwen McClure. Thanks to Colin Mathura Jeffrey and Trudy Nelson. I'm Alexia Russell. Merry Christmas.